Welcome to a special edition of the 305. And we're going to be talking about money and the opportunity to make money and how that is gradually disappearing And we're going to focus on crypto. Usually I like to talk about the stock market.
Yeah.
Usually I like to talk about, how someone might have known those missiles are going to get launched on the 13th and might have shorted the market the day before and made a couple dollars. But I'm sure everything is on the up and up because everything's kumbaya. Today, we will be talking about crypto. And my gentlemen over here are crypto experts who've been on your show many times.
Fresh and Fit. And it's funny because we were at the convention literally a couple weeks ago, and the urgency was there. Get in crypto now before it's too late. And you guys have led the front charge from the very front. And you said back in the day, Bitcoin would hit 100K, and it did. So 100%, you guys are always right. So, well, we know who you are, but name it not. Who are you?
Oh, yeah. So my name's Charlie. The YouTube channel is Cultivate Crypto. Also co-founder with Miguel for the Crypto Mindset course. So, yeah, we're, what do you call it? I would say the most prolific crypto educators in the space. There's a lot of people back in 2017 when we first got into crypto that I would say...
They're still around?
No.
No, they're actually... Dude, a few of them are starting to go crazy. Like, legit crazy. Because
It's sad.
they had all their opportunity and they wasted it, a lot of them.
Yeah, that's gonna mess with people's heads sometimes.
Exactly.
It's really gonna mess with people's heads. But let me tell you why I like Charlie Miguel over here. It has nothing to do with them being on Fresh and Fit all the time. I've known these guys before had anything to do with Fresh and Fit. When it comes to crypto, because I talk to so many frauds, and there's frauds in all line of work, man.
Of course.
Especially mine.
Absolutely.
Anyone who's non-GG33. But I talk to all sorts of people all the time. And when it comes to crypto, there's usually two questions I need to ask a crypto expert, so-called crypto expert, before I take him seriously. Number one, are you a millionaire?
Yes.
A lot of these guys will promise to make you millions. They will take you to the promised land. It's going to be the American dream.
To the moon.
Yet they broke themselves. How does that work out? Kind of like an overweight personal trainer. At some point, you're going to be like, well, hold on. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but how the fuck are you going to make me a millionaire if you can't make your fucking self a millionaire? That's number one. If they say yes to that question, I got one more to throw at them. And the second one is, did you make your millions off crypto? Because there's a lot of people who made millions in the stock market, made millions with bonds, equities, real estate, and they jump in crypto. Oh, you're taking L's. Because even though it's money and there's charts involved and all this other stuff, it's not the same as the stock market.
Correct.
It's not the same. The same codes don't work everywhere. So my question then becomes, did you make your money off crypto? And usually very few people can say yes to both questions. My friends over here can say yes to both questions.
And
so
more.
Again, I will. you see that cockiness. You see that cocky. That reassures people. So to get that level of cockiness, you got to be good at what the fuck you do. So let me ask you guys flat out, so there's no questions. Are you a millionaire?
Absolutely.
Are you a millionaire off crypto?
Yes. That actually was the base that we built it upon.
Are you a millionaire?
Yes.
Are you a millionaire off crypto?
Absolutely.
And we're not talking down to you plebs. I'm just showing consistency. Because I would not have them here if they weren't good at what they do. Second, crypto's crashing next year.
Facts.
That's true.
Absolutely.
We've been saying that too.
What? Crypto is crashing next year. Now, this is how it works. They see things from a technical analysis. I see things from a numerology and astrology perspective. My perspective tells me crypto founded January 3rd, 2009, when Bitcoin was released, not the white papers, but when the actual concept was released. That was a rat year. The last enemy year of the rat was 214 the horse, where Bitcoin, and correct me if I'm wrong, was around 930 and then dropped all the way below 200.
Even maybe below, like 150.
Was that not the biggest drop at that time?
Yes.
It's about a 94% drop,
Damn.
94% drop happened in crypto's enemy year. Now, in 2020, crypto had a bottom around 4,000, but the rat in the rat year started going, whoop, and then all of a sudden 2021 hit. Whoop, the rat and the ox are good friends. Woo! 2022 hit. Not so good.
Yep.
But 2024, the rat's friend in the dragon year, crypto kept going up. Next year, it's over. It is at now. I say 94% is not out the question. I think that could happen. I'm guaranteeing it's going to be 70 to 80.
What year is 26?
Go. We'll get to that. I'm clip farming here, bro. Come on, bro. God damn,
This
man.
nigga's so funny,
I'm in
bro.
the zone. So here, to get all serious. Next year, it's not going to be possible to make money off crypto because opportunity will not be there. We're in the last wave. If you want to make money off crypto in this last wave, while there's still the opportunity to, you want to go to war with the people who are the best at what they do. And that's these two motherfuckers right here, man. I wouldn't have them here if they weren't that good, man.
Yep.
Quite frankly, they ain't that funny. I know, man. You know what I'm saying? Quite frankly, you know, they got some questionable qualities, but I like these guys. Okay? But what I really like about them is no matter when I call them, it'll be like someone calling me about numerology. These motherfuckers will go into every coin to the detail of this shit you don't even think of because you're not in that field.
Right.
They live, breathe. Hell, I don't know what else you guys do, but they do a lot with crypto. So having said that, my audience is now yours. Fresh's audience is now yours. There's little time left. Do you agree to make money off crypto?
Yes, and I can tell you which dates.
Show's yours.
Yeah. So basically, I was telling Fresh this before the stream, and we've talked about it in our courses and stuff like that. There's a lot of nuance to different things, but then the people are like, just what's the answer, right? So global economics wise, plus crypto wise, plus everything put together, global liquidity cycle, all that stuff. Basically, the second half of this year is going to be the most explosive part of crypto that we've had since 2021, right? So the opportunity to make money there is great. It's quick, but it's also if it's really, really quick, you got to be fucking fast, right? You got to make decisions. You have to know what you're doing because what we've been telling people going into the year of 25, because the next year that's going to be like crazy great for crypto would be 2029 and 2033. Basically, you know, every 4 years is pretty much the psychology of the market. Of course, that can shift on 4-year cycles and stuff like that from time to time. But generally for crypto, it's been pretty consistent. So if we were to get exactly the same top as we've had the last 3 times, Bitcoin would have a top in mid to late October of this year. Now, global liquidity cycle is good from, it was the end of 22, basically until the end of this year, right? That just means, you know, how much money is out there to be able to be sloshed around in investments and risk assets and stuff like that, money printing included. And so the second half of this year, BlackRock has been basically saying, well, if the world is a little bit volatile, we already did the gold trade the first half of this year. We're going to pivot that to crypto, Bitcoin specifically, for the last part of this year, because everybody in crypto, all these companies, organizations, DAOs, whatever, have been building for this exact moment because the 4-year cycle has been that consistent before. So all the, what do you call it, bullets or chances, opportunities that crypto companies are going to be giving is basically starting this month. We actually have a project that we've been partnered with before that is launching on the 23rd of this month. And yeah, it should be an interesting ride to see how that pans out and everything. But everybody in crypto has been preparing for this essentially. And then global liquidity cycles match up, 4-year cycles match up. But I would say if I'm going to put a parameter on the dates, right, I would say anywhere between at earliest at this point, the end of August to the probably sometime in January of next year. That would be my window, with the tighter window probably being Q4 of this year, being the most likely time to take some of the best profits in the market.
Fresh, if you never heard this guy before, he started smart as hell.
Well, that's the only time. You know, when I talk about other stuff, sometimes it changes. You know,
The last time,
It's hard to believe he's a tiger.
the last time.
To his credit, he's a 7 tiger, guys. He's a 7 tiger.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, it is what it is, man.
Now, I will.
life past 7, 9's what, the birthday number? What do you call it again?
You're a 7 tiger. Trust me, man.
Yeah.
So the only little caveat I'll put to it is that Trump is trying to get out Jerome Powell, which is the head of the Fed, and the real estate market's fucking hurting really badly right now because we're at basically 5% interest rates, which is like if you get a loan on a house, it's 7%.
Yeah.
So it's fucking expensive. So no one's taking loans out, or you're basically retarded. Everyone's paying for properties cash if they have the money. So he wants to lower interest rates. Jerome doesn't want to do it. Obviously, it's politically willed. They're going to be there's going to be another. So there's the midterms coming up, as well as Jerome's basically gets out of office in 2026. So Trump's going to get a brand new Fed governor, and the only thing that can make this thing last just a little bit into 26 is that they start cutting rates later in the year. They start money printing. That could just prop up the crypto market to not completely collapse, and so we could still be making maybe money into April. But like me and him have talked about, July, it's
Yeah. Well, and also,
Cooked. Gone.
yeah, that's the other thing, right?
but that's if with all that right there.
Right.
It takes Fed money printing and Fed cuts.
So
It's very possible it reaches all-time highs in a enemy year and then collapses.
Yeah,
Yes.
That is
Yes.
extremely
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
So just out to your point, I saw you guys early before the show. There was a dinner that was had after the convention,
Right.
and my friend went to the dinner, and he told me some things that happened at the dinner. And someone big in crypto mentioned what you just said,
Yep.
behind closed doors. So to me, it's kind of like, if you're saying it, he's saying it, I'm like, damn, it got to be true.
Yeah, and having no connections to each other and all
No.
that stuff too. Yeah, exactly.
Then Gary's saying it too, and that's the thing is like all these people. Of
I
high
don't do
competency-
any of their stuff. Like
Yeah.
I don't do that chart stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that stuff like isn't meaningless, but I just do my way. I'm stuck in my own way. I'm gonna do my own way. And then when I see guys who are like this who agree with everything I'm saying, you know it's a home run. You know,
Yeah.
I just went from a solo home run to a grand slam.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's how we run the crypto mindset course and any of the education products that we have. There's actually 3 quadrants in crypto that you need crypto specific data to basically kind of understand the market. That's fundamental analysis. Like, for example, you know, how does Bitcoin blockchain work? You know, what's the emission schedule, stuff like that.
Supply.
You
Yeah.
have the technical analysis, like you said, the charts, the data, the price data, stuff like that. And then you have the thing that's unique to crypto, which is the on-chain data, right? Which is stuff that you can see, how is money moving, who has the money, how
Pocket
are they
watching.
selling.
Pocket
Pretty much.
It's pocket watch.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when are the whales selling?
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so if you can do that, like all 3 together, then you tend to have a better hit rate. So he does the fundamentals, I do the technicals. We have a quant in the UK who basically does the on-chain.
Gotcha. Let me ask you about your mindset course.
Sure.
If someone takes your course and they're a newbie, they know absolutely nothing about crypto, is that something you can help them with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are some of the most common people that we get. We get people who are absolutely brand new. We get intermediates, and sometimes we get advanced. Everybody kind of comes for like a different reason. But if you're like brand new to crypto, you actually, especially with where we're at now, if you're brand new to crypto and you're like, I'm gonna, you know, slowly get into the market, kind of understand it. You had the last 2 to 3 years to do that. You can't really do that right now. with
The
how-
time's running out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The ship is sinking.
Yeah.
Get on the lifeboats.
And so, like, the way we run the course is more like, I would say, a boot camp. You know how they do like boot camps for coders and stuff like that? Like, hey, you want to learn JavaScript or whatever? You know, come here, do this for a month. Basically, that's what we do for about 2.5 weeks. We say, hey, here's the webinars. We're going to take you from
A
where,
to Z. Yeah.
well, where the market's currently at is the first, I would say, 4 webinars. And then the next group of webinars is going back to basics. So anybody, let's say, for example, a lot of people who've been in crypto a while, they might know the charts, but they might have weak fundamentals, or they might not know the on-chain stuff, or they might not know the charts, right? And they know the other stuff. So somebody always has a weakness, right?
So you're talking about turning someone who knows something about it. You're going to turn him to a vet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically a higher level, right?
Much
And
higher
so
level.
we have people who've taken, I think we've done somewhere between 18 to 20 of them now. And so we've had people who've taken every single one. Why? Because they make money every single time, right? And they've built up, like, usually people go towards like, what are they naturally good at? So like, I'm a visual learner, so that's why I like the charts, right? Like to look at data, like to look at numbers. And so basically, if you like, hey, you're good at this, get really good at this lane in crypto, and then after you've been in crypto, let's say for 2 years, then start building on the other stuff. So like, that's why people have taken so many different courses, because the market's dynamically shifting every single time.
It's
Okay.
It's sort of like money muscles game. You get you get the body first, or you get the money first, and then you try to get the other ones. Yeah.
We have my audience, Freshers audience, watching right now, and some of them are beginners. Some of them would like to consider themselves experts, but I guess you can look at your bank account and find that out. You have something for every type of trader,
Yes.
Correct.
correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Next question.
Except I would say people who do excessive leverage, that's something that we basically say don't fucking do it.
You're gonna
Because
get
it's-
cooked eventually.
You're going to the casino and they're able to see where all your fucking cards are,
Yeah.
right? You think they're not going to take your money?
Right.
Eventually.
You're going to the casino with a marker. So you're not even starting off. You're starting off in debt, and then trying to dig yourself out.
So let's say someone's a novice.
Okay.
How much money do they need to get into the course and make something for themselves?
So we've had guys come in just with $500, and then we start teaching them kind of money management skills. We have a part of the course that we teach them money management skills because some people are just terrible with their income. Doesn't matter what kind of money you make, you just fucking mismanage your fucking money. So you get around everybody, everyone's fucking hungry. That's another thing. The course makes you hungry, everyone's working hard, everyone's trying to maximize the amount of dollars they have to put as much money as they can into the market, because you got to strike while it's fucking hot, because when it's not hot, every dummy is going to tell you to buy the top. Right now. We were at a little top. We went down. Last week
crying like a bitch.
everyone cries like a bitch. Last time we were on Fresh and Fit in it's called in February, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin's at 90 grand. We told you guys, all right, get in there right now. Steady up. We told our guys wait a little bit. Boom! It crashed to $74,000. We got people to buy Bitcoin at $74,000. I called Myron. I called everybody. Justin Waller. Everybody buy Ethereum here at $1,400. That was the bottom. Hit $1,400 today. Everyone's like, oh my god, everything's crashed. You're up $1,000 on every Ethereum you bought. You're up what 40,000 on Ethereum on Bitcoin right now. Every other crypto is up right now from their point, and that's the whole thing is about not being. It's taking advantage of those opportunities to buy. So we always come on here on Fresh and Fit or on the 305 podcast or any other shows when we think there's an opportunity. Either we're about to go up a lot or we're about to catch that fucking low, because the rebound is massive. There's a lot of money to be made, and you can just take your money, take some of the principal out, leave the spare change in there, and still make a ton of money, and then you've covered your ass. And then from there, as you start learning more, you can start putting in. But we have guys will start with $500, get in a couple coins, make a bit of money, DCA, dollar cost average in, and then over time they go from 500 to 14,000 to 25,000, and it's like the first time in their life they've ever had more than 10 grand.
And when that happens, it's motivating as fuck.
Yeah.
You're like, where the hell can I get more money to throw into this market right now? You know, and so people, what they tend to do as well, it improves their lives, right? They usually get more fastidious when it comes to money and when it comes to their own work. And they
remember, I told you about guys that a guy that I met as a busboy.
Yep.
He worked overtime to put more money into the market, and in 2.5 years he bought a property.
Yep.
And that's a busboy working at a club. That's crazy, bro.
And let me tell you some crazy statistics. Now, this is just general money shit. The average, obviously everyone's heard this, but like the average guy doesn't have $1,000 in the bank account, right? Yeah. Well, the average guy can't save money at all because there's expenses, right? Well, even if like this is something they've seen in equities and they've seen in crypto, okay? Is that even if you lost 50% of the money you invested, because this is the first time people have something to scroll money away into, they'll have more money in crypto and more money in stocks than they've ever had in their life, because they're that bad. They're just spending it on dumb shit all the time, right? So even if the person loses, they have more money than they've ever had in their life in one fucking shot. That's crazy. So imagine you're in something and you actually make some money on top of that. Imagine it's fucking crazy. It's life changing money. Your first $10,000 changes someone's life if they've never had that before.
Well, listen, I just sold a Ferrari.
Yep.
All that money's going towards crypto. 100%.
Let's do it.
Let's see what's happening, and it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Hey, I like it.
Guys, take us through your course. If someone wants to purchase your course, by the way, where's it at, Bills?
Down below.
Pin the chat.
Spin the chat.
Okay. Obviously, you see the 998. You know where that comes from. I'm not even going to go into it. It is what it is. But take us through what this course entails. How many seminars is this? What are they going to learn? And give us a time frame.
Yep. So I'll just bring you guys through from where we're at now until like what to expect, basically, right?
Yep.
So if you basically go here to the link that Bill's put in the description and everything, you'll go over to the website. You'll have a million ways to pay here. You can do add to cart, which generally is like regular credit card. Do GPay if you're on mobile. You can do Apple Pay. You got Pay with Link, which makes you pay over various websites if you use it often, and then you got PayPal Credit. I believe PayPal Credit does like 3 or 4 installments over the course of a time period. So that's a way to kind of pay in installments if that's what you like. But yeah, once you jump in here, within the first 24 hours, you basically get an email to whatever email that you had associated with that. That basically gives you an invite into our Telegram group. And now that's where we have everybody who's jumped into the course basically talking, and that's where we'll put all the key information and we'll pin it at the top. So that's an area where like we have our community, that's where we talk. And so From now until the 23rd of this month, we have the enrollment open for the course on the 23rd at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Can't get in anymore. Sorry. You're going to have fun being broke for the rest of the year. That's your own fault. But basically
some people want poverty. That's what they want.
We say have fun staying poor, but hey, some people think that sounds a little
It
much.
doesn't sound fun to me.
But basically, no. Once you get in, then we have a few days before the webinars begin. We're going to be beginning the webinars. I think it's a Saturday, the 28th.
28th.
If I remember correctly. And then basically we go for 2.5 weeks. We do 2 days on, 2 days off. So 2 days on would be 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern, both days. And then we have 2 days to review, rest, do whatever you need to do, right? And then we go, like I said before, through current market status. Like we have a top 50 coin list. We have a thesis webinar talking about like the next 3 or 4 months, what we expect in the market, why, and all that stuff, how many variations of that, like what can change that stuff. Like
What
that.
percentage, honest, would you consider yourself right? Of your theses, do you think you're 60% correct, 80% correct? Give me a number so they can understand where this is coming from.
Yeah, so
They understand percentages with me
So-
and
Yeah,
numbers.
Of course.
the big macro, I would probably like anyway. No one's 100% right about
No,
everything.
of course not.
But I would say probably we're something between 75 to 85% is about the range of like we're roughly correct, and then the parts that are wrong are possibly one sector pops off earlier than the other sector. So like when we mentioned AI, we mentioned meme coins, maybe, and then just Nvidia just starts banging out like crazy, and there's this whole AI race, and then AI coins go crazy. Where we're like because that takes a little bit of the steam away from like meme coins or big Ethereum. Like right now, we were starting to get Ethereum to start running until the Fire Nation attacked. But Ethereum's now starting to like if Bitcoin goes up 5%, Ethereum's going up 10%.
Yeah.
But it just started.
Right.
So
And we have a portfolio webinar where we say, hey, here's the various ways you can structure your portfolio, really keep it simple, stupid strategy and like a more complex strategy. But with the complex strategies, we basically account for that. So that way, if we have like, okay, these are the different sectors that you want to be weighted towards, these ones might be more relevant right now. These ones might be later. But if like, so for example, some people in crypto, they get all into one group of coins or something like that. Something else goes up and they're like, oh, why can't I make money? Right. Instead, we're like, okay, no, you have it over these few sectors. Maybe you go heavy on something that you like, but you still have something else. So when something unexpected happens and goes up, you still make money.
Imagine playing football and only running the ball.
Right.
yeah.
Imagine playing football and only running the ball.
Yep.
You have options here, but some people are closed-minded and they only understand you can only like make one way. I remember when I was explaining to people that you can actually bet against the stock. They were like, what? What are you talking about? You don't know what put options are and stuff? Like, no, you only bet on stocks to go up. Really? No, that's not how it works.
Right.
So again, you have to be an ability to be like a chameleon sometimes and adapt. That's why when they build these buildings for earthquakes, they're not rigid. They move.
Yep.
Because that is the best way to adapt, to move to your environment. It is what it is. And fellas, last question when it comes down to making money, because I'm a Capricorn. I'm going to be focused on the making money part and stuff like that. I'm not trying to scare people, but 2026 is going to be very bad.
Yeah.
It might not be in the very beginning.
Yep.
But when it comes to crypto, within 12 months, it's going to get really bad. And again, I'm the same guy who said Elon Musk would get kicked out the White House from Donald Trump.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened.
You called it.
It's the only major guy that I heard saying that shit. He's got fucking.
I'm good
receipts.
at my fucking predictions. Within 12 months, I'll be telling you I told you so about this. But the whole point is you can do something about it right now. I'm not the crypto expert.
Right.
I just like to come in when, I can fucking just make calls and talk shit to people.
Right.
Okay, make some money off this. I don't care about the everyday crypto shit, man.
Yeah,
I got too much shit to do, bro. I'm not gonna watch those charts like you guys. That's insanity.
Yeah.
But someone's got to do it. Okay, and they can be those guys who do it for you because that's what they do for me. That's what they do for Fresh. That's what they do for Myron. That's what they do for a lot of extremely successful people. Because let me tell you something. I haven't heard anything bad about, these guys are frauds.
Yeah.
I haven't heard those stories. There's a guy who doesn't like you too much, talks about some other
trust
shit.
me, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
There's a guy, but it has nothing to do with your skills at crypto.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, that guy who doesn't like you still says you're really good at this.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. So this is your last chance to actually do something about this and ride that wave and make some money off this. And these are the guys to do it. My man right here is a 33 life path.
Yes, sir.
My man right there is a 7. They both got 9 energy. You know what that means with crypto. If you want to follow anyone in this game, these are the 2 guys to do it. And you guys know I don't fucking promote people.
Yep.
I don't fucking promote because when you do, it means that much more.
Yep.
So again, if you're, running up course, my stock guy that I recommended to you is over 90%.
Yep.
He hasn't missed one trade for Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
Not one trade, and he's been there for goddamn a year. I'm telling you, this is the Rob of crypto. Go to them if you want to make a bag off this stuff. And brother, explain to them how this process works, not from how many hours it is, but when do people start having that confidence to push the fucking button themselves? Because there's a lot of people who have money, but they doubt themselves. They didn't want to hit that button because that's when it becomes real.
Right. There's sometimes people that get too much confidence too soon. And you're like, hold your horses, buddy. Don't go straight to fucking,
That's the other end of the pole, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people like that. We're just like, so we do have to rein some people in, push some people forward, stuff like that. But I would say probably by the time we get to the midpoint of the webinar, so about a week in, people are like, oh shit, the way you explained this or that, like, makes fucking sense now. Like, it's not as, to be honest, we break it down to simple brass taxes. Like, what is everything at the core? Like,
where can you find prices? Where you can find it cheap to buy?
Right.
Everywhere.
Some people get pissed off when we say this, but we'll say Bitcoin was, not is, but Bitcoin was a meme coin.
Yep.
Right? That's how it started. It started as a speculative collectible.
An idea.
Right?
And when did that change? What year?
It changed. I would say there's several different years, but the biggest change recently, right, was when BlackRock was like, "Hey, we're going to do a Bitcoin spot ETF." So that was 23 and 24.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be
when
the most
normies
recent
start.
big change.
Yeah, like so with the
That
normie.
brought us. The last thing I'll say is that brought us from what do you call it? What's that? The innovation stage into early adoption for the beginning of mass adoption.
So like that's when the normies, the governments, the corporations were like, "Oh, this is a real asset." But like I would say, in the mind of people, like people in investments and stuff, and speculative investments, it was 2017.
Yep.
Because when we had
That's what I would have said.
well, and that's when
yeah.
we got futures.
That's
So
when
that
we
was
got-
like the first, like, okay,
That was the
Yes.
first step.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Yep.
That was the first step. When they got futures, then it became a real asset.
but that only means they can manipulate it a little bit better.
Yeah, but you have that ability,
Exactly.
which didn't happen
Correct.
before.
Correct.
So that is
Correct.
the big
Correct.
difference.
Correct.
Yeah, 100%. Fresh, how does crypto money change your life? I know I can ask them and they'll
Yeah.
give me a list, but you've had that experience too because you've been messing with these guys for years.
Yeah, so funny story. When I first met Myron, we spoke about goals or what we want to accomplish, right? And I'll never forget, we were walking in South Beach, me, Myron, I think my cameraman back in the day. And I was like, bro, one day I want to buy a Lambo. And I'm like, this is going to happen. He's like, bro, we're going to make it happen. And obviously, at my property,
Yeah.
he wanted a property, so he wanted more property. I just want a Lambo. So then, fast forward now.
Look at this kid.
I'm just saying, bro, it's
Lambo out, baby.
one of my dreams, right? So then,
Yeah.
fast forward now, we're doing the podcast, it's doing pretty good, and I'm like, all right, cool, this is dope. But I didn't get a Lambo yet.
Mm.
But then Myron met you guys a little bit before that, and he put money into crypto. So I'm like, all right, cool, crypto, whatever. I'm like, I don't know about crypto. Then one day we're in California, and he's like, oh shit, my money's up in crypto. I'm like, what do you mean? Shows me his profile. I was like, what?
Mm.
No way. I'm like, bruh. You made this much money from crypto? No fucking way. Bro, I dropped my pants. Just kidding. I dropped my wallet, bro. I dropped my wallet and I bought Ethereum
Yep.
right there and then,
Yep.
bro. Dude, fast forward 4 months later, I bought my first Rolex.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then my next grab out of crypto, I paid down payment on a Lambo.
Yep.
So in terms of just lifestyle itself, it's helped me get things that I really wanted to get without having to put my money out of my bank account. And with crypto, it's kind of like, if you know when to buy and when to sell, you can win big. Of course, if you just
Absolutely.
willy dally, you don't know what you're doing, then it's bad.
Yeah.
If your expert's telling you what to do, when to buy, when to sell, you can't really lose.
Right.
And you're putting money that you can afford to lose anyway.
Correct.
So that's the best part about it.
And then one of the big things that we do is we kind of put people in different groups, and we allow them to put themselves into different groups by figuring out how fucking busy are you.
Yeah.
If you you are like a working professional,
Right.
you are very busy. You're working all the time, so you have to have a much more simplistic. You can't be jumping in and out, doing all this backflips and shit. Some people like we have like I would say about it. Maybe,
Well, I am a monkey, but yeah, go ahead.
But a Chinese astrology sign, 1992, for all you fucking racists out there.
There you go.
But like 40% of our guys have a bunch of time on their hands, so they can do all the complicated stuff. We've got about maybe 20% are like really high functioning working professionals, and then we have some people like everything. Like how many guys go to the gym, stand up tall, do all this shit, and then they get lazy with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we have guys. So we put people in certain portfolios where like it's a little more maintenance, no maintenance, and an extreme maintenance. And by putting these people in these categories, we allow them to win better depending on themselves. The only time that people fuck up is that like, oh no, I have plenty of time, and then they get whipped a little bit, and they get back into their place where they should be, and they start winning. Because
And the good part is that it's kind of like people can tell you things. Okay, I made this much money, that much money.
Right.
I saw the account
Right.
Myron
Yep.
had. I was
Yep.
like, bro, this is not possible.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, we're making some money, but not like that. And I took action right away because I saw it was real.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if someone watching, like, is this even real? Dude, it is real.
Yeah.
I bought a fucking Lambo from this shit and my first Rolex. Like, who does that shit?
Remember all the like we had talked about this like what's it called in March? No, in February about all the NFT kids, how much money they made.
Yeah.
So now they were scamming. So let's just be honest, they were scamming. They were,
Shout out Mark Cuban.
yeah. But remember like that guy who had made a few $1 million from selling NFTs. He was in the club all the time, and then 2 years we saw him. I think you saw him in 23. He was working at Chipotle. I mean, went from like he was every night in the club, popping bottles, champagne. I mean, everything you do. He had
Life
cars.
hits you
and
hard,
then-
doesn't it?
Yeah, you got
Bam.
Sam
Hold on.
You got Sam Bankman-Fried with Diddy.
Put a camera on me. Do you remember the guy that was huge in Miami for crypto?
Yeah.
Bitcoin Rodney?
Yeah.
Bro, this nigga, bro. I was like, all right, bro. You got some money, dog. I see you flexing the yacht.
Yeah.
You popping bottles, 100K, 50K in the club. I'm like, damn, bro. Then I was like, much of these little dudes doing this, like getting finessed by girls, simping. And I'm like, how long is this gonna last? Bro, I kid you not. Remember I called you like Charlie and Miguel, this is happening. Bro, I kid you not, bro. Within the year, at the very end of it, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, where'd they go?
You-
And then one person ended up in prison.
Yeah,
So like,
I have Fresh on speed dial because when Fresh will tell me I'm starting to see some crypto dudes in the club.
yeah, bro.
And then I know we're close. We are close.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest. There's something called the strip club index where like strippers will tell you about the economy, right? We're like, oh, the strip club is fucking banging right now. That means the economy is doing good. When the strip club is hurting, things are hurting across the. It's one of the best indicators on the planet. When he was telling me in 21, it's all NFT kids.
Whoa.
We knew.
Well, and here's the thing, right? So there's two strategies when it comes to, let's say, building a company in crypto.
Right.
Because if you can build a company in crypto, then you can also be getting rich in crypto, basically, right? If you understand how the cycle works. But here's the thing, even the companies sometimes don't understand how the cycles work, because there's two examples. You got Binance with CZ and you got Coinbase with Brian Armstrong.
Yep.
If you go and look at the Super Bowl of 2021, who was doing Super Bowl advertisements? It was Coinbase. It was FTX. FTX went fucking the craziest, of course, right? And then you go a year later, where are they? Coinbase had hired right after the Super Bowl about 10,000 new staff, and they fired 9,000 or more of them. A year later, Binance hired 4,000 to 5,000 new people, mostly from the training that Coinbase had given them. Because what CZ does, he says, like, basically at the end of each cycle, that's where you build, right? And then you build from there and you really go up. So, like, for example, next year, crypto is going to go terrible. What's the name of my channel? Cultivate Crypto. Yes, we want to cultivate dollars while we're at it because the quick money is always great.
Yeah.
But if you're going for the long term, and you look at what Michael Saylor's saying about Bitcoin, where it's going long term, what Hal Finney said if Bitcoin eats up a few percent of the money supply, it's going to be $1 to $10 million per coin, right? So if you have that potential for the long term, right, you want to stack sats, you want to stack Bitcoin. If you have a house that's priced in Bitcoin the last 10, 20, 30 years, it's gotten cheaper in Bitcoin terms, but it's gotten more expensive in dollar terms. So you want to cultivate crypto, you want to compound your crypto. So what's the best way to do that when prices are going down? Because I mean, obviously that's not the situation now, but that's what the situation will be next year, right? The money that you make this year, you're going to be able to compound that in crypto terms by a lot. And so I didn't think that that was that much when I was new to crypto, right? So my first bear market, I turned 10 Ethereum into 100, but the dollar value was the same at the end of the year.
Ooh.
Now,
Ouch.
is that good or that bad?
I can see a lot of negative in that. But I see this
No,
flip
but
side
you
too.
defended your dollar value
He protected
I get you.
dollar law.
during an entire year, right?
Right.
And you feel like, oh, maybe I didn't make that much money, or maybe I made no money. How much is Ethereum worth? How much is 100 Ethereum now?
Yeah.
Not too fucking shabby, right?
Not bad
And
at
then
all.
not only do you have that at the beginning of the next cycle, but then you can compound on that
And keep going.
and keep going. And so, like, what we tell people is over the course of, 6 months, 1 year, 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, 16 years in crypto, 20 years, the long term is where you're going to make the money. So by people coming in basically and jumping in the boot camp and then paying attention, doesn't mean they have to become experts. But what it does mean is they have the opportunity to make generational wealth. Now, whether they choose to take advantage of that is a different story. So I would say about 20% of the people that have taken the course, they have gone in that direction. And those are most of the multimillionaires that have gotten the money the quickest.
It's funny. Rumble has over 200 Bitcoin.
Yep.
And they cultivated the crypto at the very beginning. So
Yeah,
smart.
exactly.
Let me say a few things. When I first met you guys, remember I had someone vet you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember I had my top GG33 guy vet you guys?
Yep.
His name was Big House.
Big House. Yeah.
And shout out to Big House,
up, G?
GG333 Gold out there. And if you remember, I asked you what you thought about Big House afterwards, and you're like, yeah, this guy knows his stuff.
Yep.
He just said something, and I want to point it out to you guys and see what you guys think.
Okay.
He says when Kraken and Gemini go public, you know the top is near.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
Especially Kraken. Especially Kraken.
Exactly, because everyone right now is trying to say the top was in because Circle went public, but it was so almost nobody in crypto gave a fuck at all. Like you like those hype events is when everyone's fucking like speculative, right? Because right now the only major exchange that's public is Coinbase. That's it. So like the big four in America. There used to be 5. FTX gone.
FTX was ran by who?
Sam Bankman-Fried.
And he's born 1968 year, the monkey, or in the monkey year. Maybe it's 1992. I don't remember what year, but he's born in the monkey
92.
year, and he went down in his enemy year, 2022, the year of the tiger. Again, astrology at work. Go ahead, I had to plug that in.
No, absolutely correct, right? And we had warned people. We warned people for over 8 months. Get your money out of Celsius, BankFi, Luna. I mean, oh my god, the hate we got for fucking shitting on Luna was fucking
And we
enormous.
always said was take profits. Too.
We said take profits. He's like, you know, a group's crazy when they call themselves lunatics or terrorists. Like that was
I know people crazier than that.
well,
XRP.
yes, sir.
Right.
We'll get that in a minute. But there's 4 exchanges in America, just 4. Okay, there's Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and Crypto.com. Crypto.com is in bed with Trump. They're gonna make it. All the ETFs that Trump's going to launch for his cryptos are through Crypto.com. Crow token's a really good price right now. That shit's 10 cents right now. It's going to go to a fucking $1 before it's all over. It can go higher than that, but I don't, you don't know how far the speculation can go, but it's at least going to go to a fucking $1. It's 10 cents right now. Get Crow token. And guess what? They got to announce they're going to get an ETF too. An ETF for a fucking exchange coin.
That's some free game right there. Crow token, guys.
Crow token.
Holy.
It's because Trump's,
Damn.
they're in bed.
And majority of ETFs are going to be for altcoins, stuff that's not Bitcoin, Ethereum, is going to be approved basically October, November. We're going to get the first one, which is a group of ETF, basically
A basket.
altcoins, a basket, sometime in early to mid July, basically. So
And then
go up.
the reason Ethereum's starting to go stronger is because now BlackRock and a lot of these other investment groups, they're selling they're still buying Bitcoin, but they're selling some of their Bitcoin off to put it into Ethereum because Ethereum is about to get a brand new ETF. Now, there's already an Ethereum ETF. The reason that this one's so interesting is that it's going to be an ETF with dividend yield because Ethereum pays yield, but you have to stake it. So BlackRock's going to stake the Ethereum for you. They'll take the little VIG on the top of the yield, and then you're going to get 3%. So imagine you're
These
holding.
guys are so slick.
Dude, I mean, and of course, they
Oh
just make
my
like
God, they're so. And the thing is, people are so illiterate about what the hell they're doing.
right.
You know, I don't even completely understand it, but I know they're crooks, so I trust a crook to be a crook. But I know you guys understand exactly what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
They're stealing money left and right, and they're making it seem like they're doing you a favor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because they have a monopoly. They can allow you to buy crypto legally through the 401ks or the investment accounts. That's why they have a complete monopoly on it. But if you look at it, you have Bitcoin here. Bitcoin. So there's kind of a rough kind of like law, essentially, where the asset has to be worth $500 billion for some investment firms and essentially like retirement plans and like basically these huge funds of money for them to get to a certain asset class. Like they can buy stocks, but the stock market is worth this much. But for them to buy a singular thing, it has to be worth $500 billion. Well, when Ethereum's at $5,000, it's at $500 billion. Bitcoin's $2 trillion right now, right? So the big institutions can only buy Bitcoin right now. When the Ethereum ETF passes, the secondary one where you can get staking yield, the amount of entities that can buy Ethereum now goes up. And two, these funds are looking for fucking income because all the boomers have retired already.
And who are those entities? I mean, two of those fucking entities are New Hampshire and Arizona.
Correct. Yeah.
Like if a
States.
state is fucking primed to buy Bitcoin, if Ethereum gets past 5,000, they can buy Ethereum too. Like, I don't know, bro. Maybe you should buy a little, right? And like it's the same thing as like I think back in 2018, 19, 2020, in that period, Stanford, Yale, and Harvard, all three had in their endowments Bitcoin and some Ethereum, right? And it's like, so you're telling me the smartest, allegedly the smartest people, right? But supposed to be the smartest people in the country.
That's my people.
Right, exactly.
Just
right.
making sure.
They bought. You have the biggest bank in the world, BlackRock. They bought. You have Visa, MasterCard, which knows if they don't get into stable coins and Bitcoin and Ethereum,
They're out.
they're basically going to lose market share. They're in, right? Like,
They're number one.
I don't know. Maybe it might go somewhere.
You know what? You know what did it for me, bro?
What?
At a convention, you know who I saw there? Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, there's no way this nigga just said I'm about to start real estate to get crypto. There's no way. He would never say that in 1,000 years. But he's saying it now.
Yeah.
I was like, I was shocked, bro.
And a big part of it was his brother Gary.
Yeah, Gary.
And
Yeah.
Gary as well. You know,
Smart
all these,
guy.
these Gary,
The other
these
Gary.
Garys are smart. I don't know.
Other Gary.
No, Gary Cardone follows me.
Yeah. So we met Gary a long time ago. He was just Bitcoin only. We had talked to him about getting into Solana and stuff like that. And a couple months later, he was like promoting Solana now and all these things. And he made a lot of money. A lot of money. And now Grant Cardone has a real estate fund where they take a portion of the profits in terms of the dividends as well as the price appreciation if they sell a property to put it into Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yep.
So yeah, so 20% of your money buys Bitcoin, 80% buys property. When the property makes dividends or essentially like any income or they sell it, they buy more Bitcoin. And then eventually they decide through a council when they're going to sell the Bitcoin off into cash, then buy the bottom. Smart shit, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I'm trying to get in contact to help them out to make sure they buy that bottom and shit. But you know, they're doing smart business and it's done. The fund's done Bitcoin's fucking killed it. When they started that fund, I think Bitcoin may have been like 25 grand at the time. Bitcoin bottomed out at 15,500. It's at $105,000 today.
Sheesh.
So they've done very well. I mean, that 20%, they've turned that 20% to 80% of the value already.
But didn't he get like a bunch of Bitcoin at the very beginning?
Yeah, he so I'm not sure on the it may have been 2013 or 14. He'd always been like a big advocate of like, don't say no to anything, just do it. You figure out the money shit later. You guys can, but if they want to pay you on that, just take it because you never know. So he spoke at a Bitcoin conference or a Bitcoin event. They paid him in Bitcoin. He's like, I don't know what to do with this. He kept the Bitcoin, and now it is worth like an ungodly amount of money because he used to charge, I think he charged like $80,000 to $100,000 for a speaking engagement back then, and they paid it that in Bitcoin in 2013, 14 prices. So he got a stack of Bitcoin. It was a lot of Bitcoin, and it's worth millions. I mean, I'll find all even one of these because we keep asking the story. I'm gonna look up how much it was, but it was a lot of Bitcoin.
All right. If you want to purchase their course, it will be in the description. It is worth the money. I do not promote garbage. Michael Saylor.
Yeah,
He owns what company?
MicroStrategy.
How many Bitcoins do they own?
over, oh God, I can't remember, but hundreds of thousands.
Something like about 5% of the whole supply or something like that.
Yeah, they have probably next to Binance and Satoshi Nakamoto some of the next biggest
Okay.
bigs. Yeah,
Well, we don't even know who Satoshi is, so you know,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is what it is.
Adam back
Um,
probably.
okay, well, that's speculation.
Yeah, it is.
Peter Thiel.
When it comes down to Micro Solutions owning around 5% of all the Bitcoins, and it kind of like being a Bitcoin bank and stuff, thing like
Right.
that,
Right.
doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of what Bitcoin is?
So a lot of people are like, mass adoption. Could we avoid it? So if you go back and you look at like Roger Ver, he's Bitcoin Jesus. He says we don't want the banks to fucking get into crypto. We won't want these people, but is it a free market? Can they buy it? Absolutely, right? So there's a guy named Andreas Antonopoulos back in 2015, 14, whatever, around that time. He's basically saying, no, they're gonna come in and they're gonna try to fuck this shit up as many different ways as possible until they figure out that they can't, and then they're gonna join the party a little bit in order to have like some semblance of control on it, right?
Yeah.
And so, for example,
You can't control convert.
exactly,
Yeah.
and they tried to attack the network. They tried to blast it in the media. They tried to fucking bring
Right.
it through the mud and everything, and Bitcoin survived. And
When was the year they tapped out and said, "Yo, we can't beat it. We're joining it"? What was that year? 221, 220?
23, I think.
Yeah.
23.
I mean, going into the
23.
ETF, the
Yeah,
spot
yeah.
ETF, yeah.
E23.
Okay.
They-
But they had to think about the ETFs all the way back in 2021.
Correct.
2020. No, they were even thinking about it in 2020.
Yeah,
they-
so I'm right.
Yeah.
2020, 2021.
yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I like hearing that I'm right. You
Yeah.
can say it again.
Yeah.
This guy, bro.
These Barrys are so intelligent. Yeah, yeah.
Only the
Wait,
ones
wait.
with 2 R's.
Oh, yeah, 2 hours.
The
yeah.
ones with 1 R are off brand, bro.
So
I'll find a way to divide, bro. I will find the way to divide
course you
somehow,
will.
some way. It's there. Anyway, subversive, you know what they. Anyways, go ahead, bro.
So where were we? No. But no, it's just one of these things where it's like there are so many ways to make opportunity and money in this market. But like, if you just start, like there's people that I know. I'm just like 10 years or not 10 years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago. I was just like, why are you gonna buy your kids like like a what do you call it? What's that called? Like a
Or-
An account?
a high growth rate like savings
Oh,
account where you
high yield
have-
account.
high yield account. There you go.
Inflation beats it.
You do that, yeah. Inflation beats that, obviously, and then crypto beats inflation over 5+ year
Mm-hmm.
spans. And so, why wouldn't you just buy your kid some Bitcoin or Ethereum, hold it for 20 years? It's going to go up. You basically you pay for the college. It's going to be basically the cheapest way for you to do that. And then if you put a little bit more in there, then maybe you'll compound that, right? But like there's just a ton of opportunity in this market. But a lot of people are too scared to take advantage of it because they're like, well, it's too complicated, it's too difficult. So it's like, no, just come in here, we break it down,
We've known a lot of smart guys fumbling the bags
Yeah.
over. I mean, we've just been around so many cycles. We've been. I was in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, all the way to now. Damn near almost 9 years in the game, and I've seen so many like people that I thought were friends, that thought were cool, that just fumbled the bags, run away.
Some guy in Japan?
Oh yes, well, there's many.
Come on, we need some controversy.
Yeah, we need some controversy, right? I mean, it's just like the whole thing too, and we've seen a lot of people when crypto's hot get out of their lane. Like if I'm as an example, if I'm a stock guy, and then when crypto's hot, I start just talking about crypto, I'm gonna get people fucked up because it's the industry. The industries are financial, but they're not they're extremely different games. It's like me getting into stocks. I'm gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
Until eventually I fucking learn the rhythm, because I know guys who are different industries. They get in. It takes them like 3-4 years, and then now they're locked in. They got the
Right.
rhythm. But I've seen too many people trying to like come in and like in 2020 there's no competition. 2021 we finally have some competition. Me and Charlie have a little competition. All of them
No,
are
you
gone.
don't.
No, well,
No, you
perceived competition.
A little.
Perceived, right? And like I like I like Ty Lopez. He's a smart guy, but he tracks trends. He got in when crypto was the hottest because he was looking at all the Google AdWords, everything like, oh, crypto's at the peak, right? He makes a course. It literally was the top. He launches the course within 3 months. Crypto's crashing, and he disappears. You can't find the crypto course anymore. And I'm not trying to shit on him, but he looked at it in the way as a marketer.
Yeah.
Let me extract some money. Let me talk about this shit. It's a top. You have to treat this shit like dating in a way, right? Like watch girls always wait till the end to fuck the winner.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that with crypto. You have to value invest. You have to buy it when it's not hot. because that's when you make all the fucking money, right? The thing is same thing, guys. No, they don't want to buy. We're telling you, like, we've had, there's always like maybe 10-15% of guys are a little stubborn. We're like, you guys buy Sui right here. It's literally $1. It's $1. No, I don't know. When it's at $5, breaks. It's an all new lifetime high. Yo, dude, I just bought Sui right now.
Well, and all in, bro.
All in. And then now it crashes down to $2. And they're like, dude, I'm down right now. Why didn't you buy it at $1? Okay, here, buy it at $2. No, I'm down right now. It's at $2 now. It's going to pump from here. And they don't, and they get into this weird cycle of like, they want 100% confirm it that it's going up.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, if it's too difficult, why don't you just, because my channel name is Dollar Cost Crypto. You can DCA, which is a term from equities. You can just buy a little bit now, and there's lower prices, because if you don't want to spend the whole stack, and then as it goes up and then it comes back down, you saw the little first cycle. Now you have the confidence to actually put some fucking real money down and make some money. But no, people are very, no, we're all in, and that fucks them, because then they don't, their emotions get in their way. You can't be like a female.
So the phrase is, don't fumble the bag
Yes.
this year and next year. Don't
Correct.
fumble the bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it's going to get hot for a second where all the influencers will start talking crypto for a few months. For a few months, it'll be like crypto. We need
Alex
crypto.
Becker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Paul,
Yeah.
True.
this crypto zoo.
NFTs are
frauds, man.
NFTs
He
are
ran
deader
away
than
from
dead
that
right
shit,
now.
yeah.
Oh, listen, man.
Deader than dead.
I remember I emailed Cuban in 2022.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this NFT stuff looks like a scam. And he wrote me this long email about why it's solid. I don't understand. And I'm like, bro, I don't understand how you can take a picture and like basically own it when people can just like copy and paste it. Like, how does that make any sense? And he's basically trying to convince me 2 + 2 = 5. I'm like, bro, I understand. Like, I understand crypto is real, but I don't get all the logistics.
Yeah. Well,
NFT I knew was a scam.
Yeah, and we always tell people like 95% of the market is slosh. So like pets.com, where the fuck did that go?
Yeah.
Right?
Right idea, wrong time.
Right. There's
Well,
going to
yeah.
be tons of stuff like that in crypto. Crypto has every 4-year cycles and iteration, so it gets better and better and better in terms of like how the general public perceives it
Correct.
over time. But
So-
yeah, it's also one of these things we've also been telling people, back in like the early to mid 90s, like I think like 1992, 1993, around that time, you'd have people like Katie Couric and other people famously being like,
January 7th, Katie Couric.
"Oh, really?
Generous?
What? Interesting knowledge." But basically, they were saying like, "What's an @sign? Like, what's the internet? What's email? Why do I even need that? I got the postal mail, right?"
Yeah.
And then by 1998, these fucking 40-year-old ladies, desperate housewives, all these people, they have 10, 20, 30, 40 different emails. It's going to be the same thing with crypto wallet addresses. Right now, people are like, why do I need to use crypto? I got credit cards. I got the traditional banking system that I can't use on weekends, all that type of shit, right?
What if it flips off on you? And then,
Right.
yeah.
And there's also,
I just tap.
right. And there's 3 specific countries that are coming out with central bank digital currencies where those people are going to start eroding freedoms as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so then there's people.
Wait, lay those down, because it's
I
so
will,
funny.
I will.
It's so funny.
But like basically there's people who are just like, why do I need this right now? By the end of the decade, going into anywhere between 2029 and 2033, everybody's going to have like a ton of different crypto wallets. And some of them won't even know because they'll be on the back end of different apps and stuff like that. You're going to get robo taxis getting paid in stable coins and crypto. So, AI is basically, what do you call it? Internet based. What do you think it's going to use for money?
Also, if you notice, right, the streaming world has changed so much. Streaming used to be a lot more intensive for views and, of course, just getting attention. Now it's off of subs. But if you notice, Rumble is taking the charge and they say, you know what? You can pay us in crypto now.
Yep.
So they have their own wallet. So what's going to follow suit? Twitch, YouTube. So it's only a matter of time until it takes over the whole gaming market as well as streaming and, of course, the regular market.
Yep.
Yeah, because it becomes a thing for companies during good years. Is imagine you get $100, like let's just say Rumble gets $100 in Bitcoin to give subs away, right? That $100 by the end of the year turns into $300-400. Imagine you're getting paid revenue that only goes up.
Yeah.
The thing is, you have to have somebody at the company to strategically take profits on that money. So when it crashes, they can re-up back in this. I mean, even companies are getting really smart with this. Companies are putting a part of their balance sheet, and banks as well. Banks can now do 1 to 2% of their entire balance sheet in crypto. Banks are making are soon enough going to facilitate transactions.
I know how this is going.
Oh no, you know what's good. You know what's going. The smart ones are going to take some profits, and then a lot of people are going to be holding bags. But then it comes back to life. It's too many. I've seen this so many times. Oh, it's all over. Nope. It's, oh my God, this is the fucking second coming to Jesus. Oh man, fuck this shit. It died. It was Judas. It was fucking bullshit. And then, oh fuck it, we're back again, you guys, and we're going straight to the moon, and we will, and then until you don't, right? Yeah. And but this is how the stock market goes too. It's just same thing with houses. This is the worst time to buy a house. Why don't you own property 10 years later? You know, and then it's this whole thing like the winners buy assets.
So listen, tell the audience as the last message what they should do to get started. Because listen, let's say you don't buy the course, that's fine. But how can they start doing something now to help save their family, themselves? Because guys, next year is going to be hard.
Okay.
For most people, it's going to be really hard.
So if you can't get in the crypto course, I'm sorry. That's sad. That's very sad. But
well, they have a whole week, but yeah.
They have a whole week, but get in now. But basically start a Coinbase account. And get the Cash App. Okay. So what I would recommend people to do is to buy some Ethereum and buy Sui. Those two, right? And buy them in the next couple months. I really would buy them now before we start going up in price.
Crypto.com is also a good one to have an account on. Yep.
Crypto.com. And then, so every time you start noticing everyone's starting to get really happy, like they won't shut the fuck, like crypto's going crazy. Wow, the thing's going to take some money off the table. And then it's going to crash.
Oh wow, you're supposed to take cash out some of your profits?
Yeah, dude.
But
you tell people, and they don't do it.
That's a wild idea.
Whoa.
You mean when you actually have profits, you take some off the table?
No.
Yo.
But here's the thing. They think that, and then they're like, "But wait,
I can get more.
I can get more."
Yep.
Like, but no. Just crypto's not like stocks. Like this is like I have 9 grand. I can have 20.
Bro, I got my shit on my wrist, nigga. I can get money right now. The fuck?
Shit.
Hell no.
So in closing, guys, just like I said at the very beginning, crypto is crashing in 2026.
Yeah.
I'm the numerology expert. I'm telling you this. They're telling you from a chart perspective, it's going down in 2026.
Yep.
You have one more ride to make. There's going to be one more wave. There's going to be one more top, at least. And what that means is you want to go to battle with the people who know the most about the terrain. These guys know the most about the terrain. I would not bring them on this show. You can't pay me enough to promote people. You cannot pay me enough to promote people. I don't need the damn money. But if I know I can make money helping these guys and help make money to the people who are going to, like my fans, my followers, his supporters, who are going to go to them and make a bag, they're going to like me that much even more.
Yep.
Right.
So I'm telling you, go to this 33, go to this Smart Tiger. I know I don't say that too often, but he is a tiger. Okay. And they will take you to the promised land when it comes to crypto. And even if you don't spend any money, no, next year the ride's over. So this is not something you can wait on next year. This is not something you can wait on too much longer. Either you're in or, like you said, some people like what?
Poverty.
And if I'm with the bag as well.
Yep.
Guys, like I said before, I was at dinner. I heard the same as that thing. W networking, by the way. And once you're in these rooms, guys, you hear what's happening. If you're ahead of the curve, you know what's happening now, you can win. If you say, oh, I'm going to wait and see what happens, you just lost.
Yep.
Real quick, some chats here. Gaz, his birthday is September 11th, 2001.
No, fuck off.
P.S. P.S. I think he's trolling. P.S. Heavy in crypto with Charlie and Miguel.
That's right.
Also, WCU Network. Shout out to you, brother.
September 11th, 2001 is the day that I became a numerologist.
Yes.
That's the day that it didn't start making sense. And I started, I saw smoke. I just didn't know where the fire's at. So when it comes down to that date, that's a special date for me. I understand you're trolling and everything. But at the end of the day, if you are born in 2001, which is probably a good possibility, stick with these two and they'll take you to the promised land in the snake year, man.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, fellas. Where can I find y'all? And I'll see you guys on Monday for Fresh and Fit.
Yep. We'll be there tomorrow.
And get the course, Crypto Mindset. It's in the description.
Down below.
This is a course you need if you're going to trade crypto. I don't promote many people. Miguel, go ahead.
Don't go in blind, you guys. I would much rather look if you were to the point where like you're not sure, man, get in the course, learn what at the very least we're going to teach you up to the point where you'll know a scammer. Because we get to the point where you start knowing who's talking shit and who actually knows his stuff, and you start noticing most people you listen to about crypto don't know what the fuck they're talking about at all. So get in this shit so you don't get ripped off, so you at least know what's going on, and then when it crashes, you know when to buy again. Because that's a big thing that we do during the bear markets during 26 is that we're prepping, getting money together. We got all the money on the sidelines ready to fucking buy back in and fucking make more money on the money we just made. That's the whole thing is about like getting that flip and then making and waiting, then getting the next flip after those. But you can find me at Dollar Cost Crypto on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, man. I'm verified everywhere.
Someone said get on the table and shake it for Bitcoin.
What?
Hey, I think we're good, Megan.
Yeah, we're good on that.
No, like if you want the free sauce,
that was the last show.
yeah.
Oh,
That was the last show.
okay.
the girls.
Yeah, but I would say like if you want free sauce, just watch the channels. Like we stream basically 5 days a week between both of our channels or whatever. So yeah, if you go over to Cultivate Crypto on YouTube as well as Twitter or whatever, and then basically follow us, you get some free sauce between now and the 23rd as well.
So the last thing I've got to say is when we're teaching the course, so we're on YouTube literally almost, I mean, religiously. There is almost no day that one of us doesn't have a stream on the week, right?
Yep.
When the course starts, we're off of YouTube for a whole fucking month.
Yeah.
For a whole month, we fuck off. We only teach the guys, and we're just in the trenches with the guys making money, answering questions.
That's the best part because like you guys don't offer a course. It's like a mentorship.
Yes.
You give them the information, they learn from it, and then you say, you know what? I'm gonna hold your hand for 2 weeks. We're gonna do like actual like Zoom calls back to back, live Q&As. Who does that?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a live-in boot camp. We're with them. We're going through the SEALs training. We're with them, and then when they come out, they're fucking battle ready.
XRP's a scam. XRP's a scam.
Yep.
Okay, you can't spell Ripple without the word lie.
Oh,
All right.
I like it.
Peace.
Peace.
Fuck ISO.
that was funny. Gross.